Donald Trump didn't have a change of heart over the last weekend and now suddenly believes that all the Epstein files should be released by the House in a vote today. I mean, you just heard him call a female reporter from Bloomberg Piggy, quiet, because she's asking the hard questions that are asked by the American people about the release of the Epstein files. Nothing like a misogynist attack, sexist attack on a female reporter at the moment you're talking about whether you're behind the release of the Epstein files. But he's not. There will be a vote today. I am reasonably confident that enough Republicans now hearing Donald Trump's new strategy will vote for it to try to take the argument away from the Democrats. We're just talking about justice. We're just talking about humanity. We're just talking about justice for survivors, many of whom will be at the Capitol today, showing their support for the passage. That includes Lisa Phillips, one of the Epstein survivors. You're going to hear from her here on this network later in the week. But that's not what he just did. And that's not what the Republicans are going to do. First of all, it's got to pass 2/3 House, 2/3 Senate. I'm not so sure the Senate is going to actually pass it. And I'm not sure Donald Trump wants them to. He wants the House to vote on it. And I think that'll give them some political wind at their sail. But the only reason Donald Trump changed his view over the weekend is because he realized, based on polling numbers and the public reaction to his administration, that his grip on power is slipping. That he's become lame duck. That the Epstein scandal cover-up that he's in charge of has reignited with the reopening of the government. That his attacks on people within his own party, including former loyalist Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's backfired as well. I never thought you could ever get sympathy for Marjorie Taylor Greene until Donald Trump decided to bash her. But that's not what's going to happen here. I think there'll be a vote today. I think that vote there'll be enough Republicans that listen to Donald Trump who will cross over, besides the 218 that voted on the discharge petition. And I think that will lead to the House having enough votes to secure passage. You got to get 2/3, though. That's a big number. Then you got to go to the Senate and get 2/3. And there's already senators there who have said, no, we'll take a look at the House passes, but this seems like a Democratic problem, not one of our problems. In fact, let's play the clip of the Senate Whip John Barrasso just over the weekend after Trump said that the House should vote in favor of it. Let's play the clip.
Well, let me give you my take on this whole issue, because of course I want accountability. You want to make sure there's transparency. You want to make sure that the victims are taken care of. What you're concerned, and I'm concerned, is that if there is information out here about other individuals that need to be prosecuted, they need to be prosecuted. But what I saw Ro Khanna say is they want to make President Trump a lame duck president. This is all about him. I fully believe that had there been something here, I'm not sure what evidence is out there. What I do know is that the House is going to vote this week, try to make a decision, and we'll see if they send something to the Senate. And if they do, we'll take a look at that. But we want transparency and accountability.
Now, there's got to be a catch, right? Well, there is. Because within the bill itself, 4405, there is language that we anticipated here on Legal AF. I've been talking about this since last week. That the reason before the vote, Trump had Pam Bondi appoint the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York in Manhattan, Jay Clayton, to open an investigation related to the Epstein files and to go after, quote unquote, Democrats only. I guess he'll put blinders on. He'll just ignore all the references to Donald Trump that are lousy all over the files. I mean, we've seen them. There was just a data dump of 20,000 pages of documents from the Bipartisan Oversight Committee that had references to Donald Trump. We have the ones that were leaked by the Democrats on the committee that put a lie to most of Donald Trump's argument that he was not connected to Jeffrey Epstein during his child sex trafficking days. One email in particular, an exchange in 2011 between Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein when they never thought these emails would see the light of day. So you know they were being honest, talking about how Trump spent hours in Epstein's house with a girl. So inside the bill is language that says if there is a criminal investigation, an active criminal investigation, that could be another way that the attorney general could withhold documents. See, the bill is it's weird because it's a demand by one branch of government to release documents being held by another branch of government. So you have a separation of powers problem with instructions from the legislative branch to the executive branch and its legal officer, Pam Bondi, to withhold documents if she believes there's an active investigation going on. This is what it says. She can withhold language and withhold documents, including information that identifies victims who don't want their names disclosed. Some of them are okay at this point. Some of them are very public about it. Information that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. Law enforcement techniques the Justice Department wishes to keep confidential. She's going to, let's be frank, they're going to get the smoke screen and try to get some political benefit from the vote. Then the Senate is going to tie it up. You just heard Barrasso. Nobody thinks John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, is honest. So he's going to block it and slow it down. And they'll slow it down long enough for Jay Clayton to stand at a podium one day from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan and say, we've got an active investigation, folks. I'm grabbing all these documents. That's the reason you're not going to see most of this. So Donald Trump thinks he's going to convince the American people that he was for transparency, but they're going to exploit the provision of the bill that allows Bondi to withhold it based on an active investigation while the Senate slows it down. That's your viewer guide. That's what we're watching. And it galls the crap out of me because the victims, the survivors, are down on Capitol Hill today, including those that have been on Legal AF and have been on Midas Touch, like Lisa Phillips. And all they want, all they're crying out for is justice. And instead, they're becoming political pawns again. It's the victimization of the victims. While Donald Trump tells members of the media who are women, quiet, piggy, quiet. I mean, how he believes that a heartless president is going to survive the midterm election and where he triggers everyone with his racist, misogynistic, heartless, depraved, immoral, unethical behavior. And that's separate from the lawlessness, the unconstitutional abuse of power. Just who he is as a person, just who he is as the president of the United States. Is he not the most disgusting president of the United States we've ever had? Even my Republican friends, even those that I think are secretly MAGA, I'm sure they don't point to him as a role model in their own families to their children. Who could? We'll continue to follow the results of the vote, but I've given you the roadmap. House will vote for it. Senate will slow it down. Pam Bondi will announce, along with Jay Clayton, at some podium in the near future, there's an active investigation, and they're going to point to that as transparency. And we'll have to hold them accountable, as we always do on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button, slide over to Legal AF Substack, where you can grab everything we talk about. There were like 5-6 new filings yesterday in the Letitia James and James Comey case. You're going to want to read them. They're up on Legal AF Substack. Think about becoming a paid member as well for about $7 a month. And now you're a full-fledged card-carrying member of Legal AF. Till my next report, I'm Michael Popak. I'm Michael Popak, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popak Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popak firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popak firm today at 1-877-POPAK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopakfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popak firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.